hearing thoughts about California and they're raising their minimum wage to $20 an hour.
They are?
They probably need it.
They probably do, but milk is already like $8 a gallon there. So
It is?
That's just, the sad thing is it's going to help them out for a little while, but it's just going to push everything else up.
Yeah, you'll have maybe 6 months, of it, and then after that. But every year afterwards, they're supposed to increase it up to $29. So.
Minimum wage to $29.
Mm-hmm.
That's nuts.
So yeah, starting I believe next year or
The dollar's going to start to depreciate.
And
That's what I see coming.
What's that?
The dollar depreciating.
But we are up.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Texas Real Estate Show. My name's Steve Williams. I'm the host, and I'm here with the two Texas loan ladies. I've got Miss Laura,
Hello, good morning.
and I've got Miss Courtney.
Hello.
Say good morning, ladies. Come on.
Good morning.
I hope
Good
it's a bit more
morning, guys.
vigorous than that. Laura's a normal, shy self. Always pick on her. Courtney, she doesn't need any encouragement at all. She's always out there for the taking. So there you go. So what have we got this morning, ladies? What are we talking about? What have we got on the menu?
You want to?
What's the first thing we're going to talk about?
We're gonna
Come on,
look
Kay.
at
What do you want to
some
talk about?
Talking about
Zillow gone wild. Let's start.
Zillow gone wild. So this apparently has nothing to do with Zillow, correct?
Nothing to do with Zillow, but has to do with Zillow listings. So anything that's out of the normal, weird, different, they're going to post it on here.
And what have we got? We got
Yeah.
a Barbie Playhouse here, is it? Is this?
Yeah, so this is the first one. This is the Barbie Dream House.
My first idea looking at that is I just want to jump on those little rock things to jump
Could
to
you
the
honestly?
house.
Could you honestly live in? Could you honestly live in a house like that? There, it's very 50s to me.
It is. It is very 50s. I mean, even if you look at the stove, that stove
Even
is
if you
old.
have, I mean, even if you have, like a Ken in a G-string walking around, it's still in the 50s.
All I know is that is the tiniest pool I've ever seen.
I hope it's a jacuzzi.
I don't know. It looks like it's not very deep either. That's just to put your feet in and then cross your legs and just do this on
Where-
the side of the
just-
pool.
A kiddie pool.
Do you know where that house is? What part of the country?
It's in Arizona.
Oh, that's interesting. Very,
So
very
it's in
interesting.
Arizona.
Arizona. That tile is awful.
Yeah, this is.
What about the tile in the bedroom?
Yeah,
the
it's
blue one.
Awful.
Peel and stick tile.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Asbestos in
looks
there?
like it.
I just want to say that the whole house looks great. Like, it looks like it's 50s.
Serious.
But they just gave up on the bedroom. Like, all of the decor went everywhere else, and then the bedroom.
But back then, everything was more simple, though.
Yeah.
It really was.
Well, you know the sliding mirror doors in the bedroom?
Mm-hmm.
Them are the exact mirror doors that my parents put in their house in 1976.
How do you put that in the house and be like, yes, we updated, that looks
It's
great?
all it is, you're just putting doors in
Yeah.
away from the wall and then putting closet
I don't know.
features.
As a mom of boys, mirrors, especially large ones, just are looking for a
Oh, we
disaster.
cracked one. When my mother was going through, before she went to the residential clinic, she actually fell over on a glass door just like that, and it cracked.
Yeah. So, okay.
Very dangerous.
Older people, children, keep them away from the glass doors. What do you think, Laura?
I wouldn't have a big mirror like that, or mirror like a wall mirror in my bedroom. Just don't see like that adds value to it.
I don't know. I think the best thing about this house is the car that's sitting under the carport.
How can somebody sleep in that room? It's very depressing.
Right, it was terrifying.
Unless you-
Hey, it's easy to dust and clean. There ain't nothing to do.
Unless you-
Outside is not so bad. The outside color's okay.
the bathroom's okay if you're the kinky type.
Well, I mean, outside, it's not that bad looking like the other ones.
Hey, I'd say for Arizona.
It looks like
For having grass, they're doing good.
They are doing very well.
It's
but-
just turf.
To be honest, yeah, that's what I was about to say. When I look at it, it doesn't look like real grass. It looks like turf, though.
Well, the AstroTurf.
Mm-hmm.
The way we're going to be having that. But the car looks pretty cool.
I feel like the outside.
Best thing is the
fine.
car instead of the house.
Yeah, and the kitchen's okay, but the bathroom looks ridiculous. I don't even know.
If
what
the
it
stove
is.
doesn't work for some reason or needs repair, try finding a part for that.
I feel like the bathroom is missing the mark on this one. It needs to have, like what I have, where it has the matching tub, the toilet, the sink, and tile all matching, either pink, blue, purples, right?
I mean, who does peach with green with black and white and
Barbie.
Also, why are there cabinets above the shower?
yeah, that's a strange.
What the heck?
Oh, that is really strange. I would think that would warp really quick.
That was my thought.
I don't know. Okay, so then we have a rival pink house. Okay, we got a rival Barbie house down here.
Oh, that's just too much.
What's too much about that?
Oh my.
It's literally got Barbie and Ken pictures.
This is like
with the Playboy picture.
That's
this is like 50
interesting.
Barbie, 50 Playboy mansion gaudy. They have some nice stuff. Look at those cabinets.
Yeah,
those are
some
really
stuff is
nice.
Apart from the pink.
Barbie.
Oh, I just want to
Pink's
throw
not
up
my choice of colour for that.
it's so much pink.
It should have been lighter pink, not too dark.
What
So
the
this-
heck?
It doesn't have a head.
It's too.
What is this?
Oh, that's
Be your own
we
daddy.
can- No,
Make
don't-
your own sugar.
I don't know what's going on
Me
here.
either. Oh, what is that?
Please don't do coke in the bathroom.
What?
Going on?
We know what was going on when they designed this house.
I wonder if because to me, when you're looking at this, other than the kitchen, it looks like they have pink bulbs as well. Like it's just so pink. Like I can
No,
just-
it's the actual color. Because look at the
Ugh.
outside. It's that bright neon pink.
And then they have just a gothic bathroom.
Yeah.
They put some pink in there, just a little bit. Can you imagine a whole black bathroom? You know how easy it is to like
me-
see water stains and stuff. Can you imagine trying to clean that thing?
To me, it's too clustered. There's too much stuff in
Yes, agreed.
there. You know, it's too clustered. I mean,
The
especially
kitchen's not
now
that
that
bad.
the trend is minimalisation.
Ooh.
And
I
then
like that.
to me, but this looks like a prison to me.
I
This
don't
looks
like the
like
outside.
this looks like a government institution,
Yeah, but they have
Go
tons
to the
and-
right.
They have tons and tons of windows.
and
See,
they look
that looks
and it's
nice.
beautiful inside.
It's
Yes,
beautiful.
it's
That looks
lovely.
beautiful. I don't know about those stairs.
But I don't know.
It's alright.
Do you know what fascinates me about buildings like this? There's so much square footage.
Unused.
Yeah, I mean, the cost for cleaning the damn place is just unbelievable. If you had the choice, let me ask you.
See, that would be like a nice reading.
All right, let me ask you, your ladies, a question. What would you rather? A house like that with a lot of square footage, overlooking a view. Why are you laughing? Or would you rather have, say, a standard 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, maybe with a barn or an external building, whatever you want if you had guests, and more land?
I'll take the more land, less for
I
me to
would as
clean
well.
on the inside.
Absolutely.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. We're in
That's what I
Texas.
would.
Land.
It's also probably extremely humid in this little pool area.
It looks tropical.
Yeah.
But they are going to be making a show on HGTV for this. They're going to make
Oh, that one's interesting.
Oh,
8
there you
half
go.
hours.
That's my type of house.
That one's
looks
really
like somebody
interesting.
laid a turd in the middle of the It just looked like it.
So my dogs have some sort of use.
It looks like this one might be underground or it's just tiny.
It might just be tiny. Well,
Go on, let's have a look
well,
inside. Let's see what this.
whoop.
But you know what? What it is right now, I I might actually like that because my electricity bill would be real low.
How much was your electric bill last month?
So I have solar, but I still had to pay for extra electricity. All of it combined with my payment and that, probably like if I were to pay a regular electricity bill, like $500 or $600.
How much was your electric bill last month?
$278.
$709.
Oh, so then I shouldn't cry?
No, you shouldn't. For you having a house, but once again, you have everybody leaves and the AC goes down. I have people at my house like 24/7.
No, I keep the AC cool. I keep my house cool because of my dogs.
My electric bill has never been so high.
It's expensive right now. Everything is.
Yeah.
What is that?
This is how you get into the bedroom.
It's a hallway.
It's a hallway or you're crawling in there?
You have to crawl through it.
See?
Is there not another way to get to the bedroom?
I like the door.
Oh, I love the windows
That
up
would be
top.
nice. Yeah, go back.
Please don't tell me that's the only
See?
bathroom.
To see the night sky, maybe. That's pretty cool.
That's really cool. I love that.
It's nice. Yeah, this is the only restroom.
Outside.
Yeah,
It
we're
feels. Oh my goodness! It feels very like fairy tale, like
Elfy.
Hobbit, elfy kind of thing.
Harry Potter-ish.
Yeah,
So,
Lord of the Rings kind of thing.
maybe
Harry-
a rabbit.
Harry
Lord
Potter's,
of the Rings. Let us.
Harry Potter's got to use.
Harry Potter's new house.
But yeah, that is.
More than 1.8 million people follow Zillow Gone Wild on Instagram. So I can't wait for them to come out with this show because I'm definitely going to be watching it.
Now that looks like a spaceship. A broken down spaceship.
It does look like a broken down spaceship.
Oh, that's color. I
With
don't.
texture. Too much texture.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like the kitchen.
That's not bad.
Me like the kitchen.
I feel like I'm
Nah,
gonna
it's
get
okay.
busy.
It does feel like it's wonky,
Imagine
right?
if you drink a couple shots and then you start walking.
Be like, is the ceiling
To me-
moving? Is it
To
closing?
me,
in
a
on
lot of
me?
these homes, they're too complicated. They try to. I know that's the purpose of the show, but at the same time, it's like, where's the? I'd rather have the simple
A lot of them
stuff.
are on Airbnb, and like they just make these weird houses on Airbnb. You can literally just click like anywhere, any week, and let's see this, and they all just kind of look like this.
Oh, look at that one. That one looks like an octopus.
This one.
Nope, the green one. Go down.
So like.
Okay, that looks fairy to me. Right there. That's super cool. I like that one.
Yeah, the inside looks really nice. Now, this looks like a
It's got a
spaceship.
contemporary, just weird.
Yeah, I could probably look at this kind of stuff for hours. That's super cool.
Go back to the page for Airbnb. Go back to the windmill.
I'm telling you, they brought this from a Harry Potter.
Well, that's in Portugal.
Yeah,
This
so
one.
they rent them out for whatever, but I feel like just a bunch of architects are just bored, and they're like, here.
Look, even a ship. Look, Springfield, Tennessee. You can go in and go ship.
Where you going? What's that, Mother Goose Man?
What is
Kind of shape.
Put on your pirate voice. Aye, aye, matey.
this? Looks crazy. This looks like an old black uncle tried to be romantic and just put cheetah print and roses everywhere.
It's the shape of a bow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These people, it's like they're doing it. I think specifically for Airbnb. So
Has to be.
It's just looks different.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on. We are going to move on to the 10 things a real estate agent should never do. And this is something that Courtney had brought up. I don't agree with all of it, but I agree with most of it. Let me just go pull this up.
So it talks about real estate agents, how many are actually successful. And it states that 93% of all real estate transactions are done by only 7% of agents.
Which is lower than what it used to be. It used to be 20% of the agents to 80% of the business.
I think that has to do with COVID too, and everybody seeing the real estate market.
I don't think so. I think we're through the COVID thing. I think the biggest problem is people think they can come in and do this part-time, and you can't. You've got to treat it as business. They think it's just a case of writing the contract. Even when you go through classes, I think COVID has caused the problem in relation to, well, you can just do the classes online. But there's nothing. You can learn more if you're in a class environment. You can learn from other people. You can learn from other people's experiences. If there's any other, you can talk about things in general.
My thing is that doing the class teaches you kind of the rules, but it doesn't teach you how to actually do this business, build your business, and have a business.
I agree. I'm not adverse to that at all. When you do the test, it teaches you the rules of the road, so to speak, a little bit like getting your driving license. When you go to your broker, it better be a good broker, because that broker is going to teach you how to grow your business. The problem is there's a lot of people that come into the business because they're part-time. They don't want to put their money where their mouth is, if you want to. And all they're doing is they're not investing in themselves. They're basically going on friends. Well, my answer to people and I say this to even the agents that we have, is when you buying a house for somebody, is you can be friendly in nature, but at the end of the day you must never ever lose sight. You've got to keep a professional relationship, and you're buying a house for them. It's the biggest purchase of their life, and it's got to be done properly, it's got to be done ethically, and that should never ever be forgotten. And the problem is, I've purchased homes for family members, and no, I won't do it.
So you want to start going down this list?
Absolutely.
I know. Working with family members or friends is honestly, to me, harder than working with somebody that you
because they won't listen to you're saying things in a professional manner, and it's like
it's because they know
it misses the thing that's between their ears.
They know what you do on the weekends, Stephen.
Well, unfortunately, it's working, doing all the admin at the office. But the number one, real estate agent should never forget about the basics. I agree with that. Okay? Your personal life and your professional life have become one. What was we just saying? It's funny how it comes up now. You will be one of that people that will work, that will like to work with or not. You have to become your personal brand. You will be one they chat to at the neighborhood barbecues, and impressions will be made. Proactivity seeking business is not only a must for any newbie real estate agent, but also the experienced ones. It's an ongoing funnel of leads the agent needs to follow up with. Some clients will be ready next week, next month, or next year. All right?
I love how it puts, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. Mm-hmm. So you really have to put a plan in, action with this. Really being a real estate agent, or even like us as loan officers, it's like having your own business. Your success is dependent on you. You have all these other, factors that help you out, but at the core, it has to be you.
It's called taking an accountability for what you do. I mean, that's really what it is. But that's the problem, I think, with our industry. There's people that are coming in part-time, and people say about the basics. We was talking before we started, you'll get people that will just call me up and ask me for my advice. All right. Mm-hmm. Like I told you, I had a person call me last night. He was in California at 9:30 wanting me to recommend him a title company. I don't get nothing for that. I don't expect nothing for it, but at the same time, I'm with my family. I've got to answer my phone. You'll get some agents. There's some companies out there that even teach not to answer their phone because of all the spam calls you get and the scam calls and everything. And they basically say, text me a message and leave me a message. Now, personally, I don't think that's good customer service.
Yeah, and then also a lot of people think that they'll get into this line of work, it'll be easy, and then they'll get to a certain point where they won't have to do this back to basics footwork, but that's not true. Even these real estate agents that are making the money, they're doing the basics just as if you're a new agent.
Right. And then a real estate agent should never say that something isn't their job. I agree with that, but there's some points that I want to point out with this. A real estate agent is not there to advise on any legal matters, whether it be where the survey line is, if there's if there's an opinion or a legal opinion in any transaction that needs doing, then it's the agent's responsibility to turn around and to say to the buyer or the seller, you need to seek legal advice from a licensed attorney. And I think in the industry in general, that's the line that some companies and some agents don't understand. Mm-hmm. I get it in my company as well all the time. I've got agents turn around and say, well, what do you think about da-da-da-da-da-da? And I said, I'm not even going to comment on it.
Yeah. I understand that.
I'll give you an attorney. You need to ask that attorney about that particular, what you think. And
I think also what they're referring to here is, I understand that because you definitely don't want to get into a legal matter and give the wrong advice. But also, when you come into this, you can't be, well, that isn't in my job description, I'm not going to do it. Well, who is going to do it? You got to be ready to get down and dirty. I've had agents that have literally helped clean up a house.
Oh, I've done that. That's, to me, that's a given.
Yeah.
If you're doing an open house, it's your job to help sell the house. I've got agents in my office, some of them will even pay for the staging of the house. One of them has a staging company, which she ends up taking that amount of money from the closing, and if she can't close that house after a particular time, then she writes off that, that amount.
Yeah, you have to be ready to do what's not in your job description.
I've paid cleaners to go in house and clean houses.
Yeah. And even my coworker here, Laura, drove way across town 9:00 at night just to pick up documents from a borrower that she wanted to help out. So, you got to get ready to do more than just walk in and show a house. It's way more involved. It's going to be a lot more of your job, your time. And if you don't know how to do it, you better have the resources to know who to do it, to get everything done so that you can get this deal done and help out your client.
And then the next one is, a real estate agent should never lose track of the bigger picture. 100% agree with that. Not every negotiation will turn into a deal. Not every deal will turn to a closed sale. Not every closed sale will turn into a happy customer. And the reason why I put that down to is there's some customers that, they think because they're saying a price and this is what they want to do, it's very, yourself, a lot of it's down to the underwriting with loans. Mm-hmm. The underwriters are really the people that are laying the rules of the road as far as financing goes. Sometimes things happen both in and out of the agent's control that will have contributed to that less than desired outcome. And there's nothing more alarming to me as the broker owner of a franchise of our size, that, to be perfectly honest, you know, I want my clients to be happy. We had one person leave a Google review for our company for an agent that didn't even work for our company. They worked for another Century 21, no, it wasn't even a Century 1 office. I think it was some other, but they got all screwed up, and it was so difficult for us to do, and we researched it. But I mean,
when you get into this industry, you really got to be ready to hear no. You're going to hear no a lot. There's a lot of people that aren't going to be ready, and people lose sight of that and get discouraged when they hear no or it doesn't work out.
I think a lot of it is education. It's continued education and patience, and that's really what I put it down to. Now, you know, I haven't got much patience. When I was selling houses, now I lead a broker role. But basically, when I was selling houses, my attitude was, it was a bit like a bull in a china shop. It was, we'd go in the house, we'd look at the house. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Okay, well, if you like it, we'll write an offer on the property. If you don't, you don't. Okay, but let's not waste our time. And let's go to the next house, because we might be looking at 5, 10, even 15 houses in one day. You know, as you get a little bit older and a little bit more experienced, that changes. You know, you'll go in, you'll look around, you look into it a bit more of a deeper dive, and it sort of changes. But you've got to look at the whole picture. And now, in all fairness, because there's been some recent, the contracts are different now. Water districts have changed, septic system rules and regulations have changed, wind and hail restrictions have changed, insurance has changed in different areas. So there's a lot more change to be learned from agents that have been into the business, you know, for quite a time. And we
live and we learn.
Yeah, we do, and I think the big message, to be perfectly, is something my father used to say, which I think is very wise in the real estate industry. If you're wise, you'll make a mistake, and you'll make that mistake once, and you'll learn from the mistake. You make yourself twice, and you're dumb. You make the same mistake 3 times, and you pass the point.
Yeah. What do you think about this one? A real estate agent should never waste anyone's time.
I totally agree, but the same as that, I think there's a lot of buyers that waste agents' time.
I think that's true, but on the real estate side and what you can control, you got to be really careful with your time, and a real estate agent that's actually working the business is really busy, and we have to stick to our word. If we say we're going to call somebody at a certain time, we need to do that.
And I completely say that, but what's the most important thing that we say to buyers? Get yourself approved before you start looking at a house. Do they listen? No,
who
they
came
don't.
up with this concept that you should go and view houses before you're approved?
Because you've got and you've got to explain to it, because believe it or not, there's a lot of buyers that say, "Oh no, I'm okay, I can get approved," because they're reading all this, you know, crap really on social media about buying a house and getting approved. You know, I mean, you know yourself, you know, we have companies call us, well, we can get you buyers approved, and, you know, we've tried it in the past, and they don't get the buyers approved, you know, 2 or 3 days before closing. Oh, we can't get you approved for whatever reason. You know, the contract doesn't even. So what I'm going to say to you is on this is the buyer's got to do their part. To me, it's a team effort.
It's a team effort.
You know, the buyer, if a good real estate agent, if you're working with a good real estate agent, they've got a team with them. They've got somebody that can help them with their loans. I mean, a buyer can use whichever loan company they want, but it's easier for everybody if you can work with somebody that you worked with before. And then it's like the title company, you know, contractors in case you need bids when you're negotiating on a property. I mean, these are all, a good agent will bring you a strategy to buy the property, and they'll bring you a team of people to help that particular buyer. Because you say there earlier on about, if not the outcome's not good, well, did the real estate agent let you down because they haven't got the backup or the strategy? And a lot of it, to be perfectly honest, in my opinion, is getting, you know, a good brokerage to me is so important, because they're the people that will also help you with the contractors and everything else that you get. You just don't go out and look on Google and see who the contractors are. And here we go, this is the part I was saying. A real estate agent should never skimp on marketing. So you've got to invest in yourself. You know, there's quite a few real estate agents who weren't aware that they go into the business, that the toughest part of is actually getting more, you know, is actually getting the business. The upfront cost of license fees, board dues, starter kits, camera equipment will only increase once the marketing budget gets added on top of it. And that's one of the benefits of joining a franchise, because a franchise has more systems, you know, that will help the agents and pick them up, you know, and there's more of a camaraderie in the office. At times you need that.
So you better be ready to be a real estate agent and also a marketing professional.
Well,
just put on your marketing professional hat.
Couple of hats.
I think yes and no. I think as you get busier, what would you rather do? Would you employ a K over here to help you with the marketing, or would you rather be out there showing houses to potential clients? If I was, when I was an active agent, I had people doing my marketing. I was paying people to do my marketing for me, but I was out there showing properties.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was simple as that. You know, one year I sold 199 properties. There is no way on earth, and I was working literally from 7 in the morning to 11 at night. I was killing myself. I ended up saying I've had enough of this. It was just driving me completely dry. And basically what I ended up doing was employing somebody to do the marketing, because for each of the listings that I had to do a marketing flyer. It came up in the system, but then it needed printing. Then I needed somebody to actually take it to the house to put the flyer, you know, on the for sale sign. I needed people to put my for sale signs up. I needed people to put my trespass sign up if the home was vacant. There was so much more. You know, they don't teach you that in real estate school. There's a lot in real estate school where they don't teach you. And the fault in what I think is with real estate school is they teach you the perfect contract. They teach you as if you're going through and you're selling this house and there's no problems with the house. There's no repairs that are required. There's no, you know, this business is like it's like a train. If it goes off the rails, you as an agent have got to speak to people and speak to your team and speak to various people, title companies, contractors, and the other agent, and get it back on the rails to the point where you can get it closed. Your job as a real estate agent is to close the deal. That's what your job is to close the deal, but close it legally and close it ethically. And where a lot of people go wrong is, in general, as the public out there, they think, if I call the listing agent, I'll get a better deal.
No.
Because then the listing agent's going to get both sides of the deal. That isn't the case. It really isn't. It's a fallacy. It's an absolute fallacy. If you're going to use anybody, don't use the same agent, because another agent will get you a better deal because they'll negotiate harder. Because if they don't negotiate harder where the deal can go through for you, guess what? They don't get paid.
When I was first looking for apartments and condos here, there was, I didn't have an agent. I was just reaching out to whoever it was for sale, and I think that's how I found Century 21.
That's how you found us.
But before that, I had a guy. I really wanted this very specific condo. It was like a high rise, and every time he was trying to talk me out of the one that I wanted, and he was trying to talk me into getting one that he was the the actual
Listing
agent,
agent,
the listing agent. And I was like, I don't want to live there. I want to live here because I wanted to specifically live in this area, this specific area. And it was just like pulling teeth. He was like, well, that one doesn't have this and that one doesn't have that. I was like, I know that. I just want to go see the place. And then, I don't know, I put in my application for it and everything. And then he was like, no, they went with someone else. That thing is still on the market to this day. So I'm like, I don't know if he didn't give them the information.
After we've discussed this, I'm going to discuss something which is relevant to what you said, okay? Which is very relevant. A real estate agent should never fall behind the curve. I've been in the business now 22 years, and keeping up with this business, with technology changes, with social media, with all the other, is so difficult to do. It really is a challenge. That's why, I've got K and I use K, because the truth of the matter is it is such a challenge to keep up with it. It's a completely different, when I started in 2003, you have a contract, paper contract, you write the contract, you go send it to the title company with the earnest money, you're in business.
I think this is where a lot of real estate agents, it's hard to work part-time and don't make it because of this. Real estate is always changing. It's not something you can walk away with and come back a year and it's going to be the same. It's not.
I
You
know.
have to keep up.
It changes by the minute.
I know if an agent is part-time just when they call me. If they call me at 7:30 in the morning up to about 8:30, or they call me after 5:30, 6 o'clock, I know they're a part-time agent. Because that's when they call me. I've even asked them, are you a part-time agent? Why are you calling me now? I'll answer the call. I have no problem in answering the call, but in the back of my head I'm thinking, are you really serving your client?
If you're not available to.
If you're not available, and I'll give you a typical example. We're supposed to close, let's say we're supposed to close a transaction today. The time that's laid down by TREC is everything, if we're going to extend the contract, it has to be done before 5 o'clock that day.
It has to be agreed upon
All
before
right.
5, not
So-
even just started.
So we have to do the amendment to extend it from 5 o'clock. Well, if you're working part-time at 5:30, you'll pass the 5 o'clock deadline. Technically, you've lost the earnest money for your buyer.
Yep, and just hope you get lucky that it can be extended.
So anyway, a real estate agent should not be afraid of confrontations. Very much agree with that. Too many times real estate agents seem to have a phone phobia. They either pick up their phones and can't be bothered getting back to all the missed calls. We all know a couple of those colleagues, don't we? And that's very true. Like I said to you, I like to answer all my calls. I like my agents to call me. Why? Because every situation is different. All right?
I like this. Are you genuinely too busy to answer every call, or are there specific confrontations that you're trying to get away from?
There's sometimes, I had a call yesterday where I've got two agents that don't agree on a particular situation, and a broker from another company that I've still got to get back to has called me up regarding a particular situation with the release of earnest money. I'm not looking forward to the conversation because she's very stubborn. All right, she was very polite, which was a plus. Not all. The biggest problem that I find, to be perfectly honest, are brokers, because a lot of brokers they feel they have the power, if you can say that, not to be respectful and not to discuss issues. So anyway, a real estate agent should never assume perfect circumstances. What I'm going to say to that is every situation is different. Every transaction is different. No two transactions are ever the same. And it's ever so true for real estate. If it can't be that hard to sell a house and cash is that big commission, I'm probably not the only guy here smiling when I read and hear that.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as two identical real estate deals. There you go. Each home buyer and seller will have their own set of circumstances and will cause the negotiation to be difficult, one or impossible one. I'm going to give you an example. There was a house that we closed on down in Brazoria County. It was a single-story, 4-bedroom house. It was on like 6 acres. It was a typical Texas house. It had the Texas sign to the side of the house. Mm-hmm. It also had an American flag on the front of the house. And basically what happened is they closed on that. They did the walkthrough, because I don't let my agents close unless they do the walkthrough. And they did the walkthrough. The American flag was missing, and the Texas sign was missing to the side, and it was fixed to the house. Do you understand? They was both fixed to the house. Well, anything that's fixed to the house, unless in the contract it states that they're taking it with them, should stay with the house. Well, the seller who sold the house...
Is it really considered fixed though? Because like
it's fixed to the house.
Pictures on the walls are fixed, but they're not necessarily having to stay there.
It has to be on the non-realty item addendum. It has to be in there if it stays in the house.
Okay.
If it's fixed to the house, it's fixed to the house.
Because it's got to be a permanent fixture.
But continue. Sorry.
It's fixed to the house.
So
It's
what happened
screwed.
after
It's screwed
they
into the wall.
saw it wasn't there?
The seller did not want to take the flag back. All right, he was, and then in front of the house there was 2 American flags. There was one fixed to the house, and there was one which was a big flagpole with an American flag on it. Well, they took the flagpole out the ground.
Ooh.
And they left a hole.
Now that's different.
Yeah, that is different.
All right, and we ended up. Because we thought, look, by the time they take it out and put it back, whatever, it was a mess. So we ended up negotiating a price, basically.
Wow.
Some seller
Now,
concessions.
removing a pole, that's totally
Well, it
different.
had closed, so it wasn't seller concessions. That was a problem. But our agent worked to get. We got a bid on putting a new flagpole in.
That's an interesting thing. Yes.
That's interesting.
So I'm not a real estate agent, but as far as on the loan side, this job is really challenging. It's not super easy, and I love it every day for that. But if you want something that you just do every day and clock out at 5, this is not the kind of industry to be in.
There's a comment I just want to make from the article. It says,
Yeah.
they will always be a unique situation involved as well. Once you think you know how it works, it changes on you, doesn't it? That reminds me of the situation of marriage, but that's a topic for a different article. Isn't that part of the fun being a real estate agent? Come on, buyer's market, seller's market, who cares? Let's do a deal. The real estate agent tries to make the best of the situation with the information at hand. That deal you put on ice today could be completely different in a week's time when both parties sit on the table again. I can't tell you how many times I've been in, people haven't been qualified for a deal. We've walked in, they like the house, they fall in love with the house from an emotional standpoint, and then they decide to get approved, and by the time they get approved and we put the contract in, the house is in contract. And they miss out on the deal, and then guess what? They can't find another house that they like as much as that one. So A real estate agent should never forget it's a team effort. There you go.
If you don't work well with people, don't be a real estate agent, because you're going to have to work with a lot of different people and get along.
Right. And this is the part where I think this is the thing that I think a lot of brokers suffer from. A real estate agent should never get jealous or resentful. If you're at a brokerage and we're earning a small percentage of what the agent makes, and you see an agent making, we've had agents in the office make 200,000, 300,000 a year, and we might be taking a small percentage of that. Then you think to yourself, I'm the one taking the risk as a broker. I'm the one taking the legal side of it. And, you think that's what I think a lot of brokers suffer from. I used to work for...
I think as well, like, especially these new agents will get into the agency, right? And they'll look at people making more money and they'll feel resentful to them. Why are they making money? They think that they're entitled to be getting that check, right? You really need to look at these and look up to these agents and figure out what they're doing and do it too.
Right. One of the things that I've always said is, we talk about marketing, but I think there's a word that's more important than marketing, and I think it's application. A lot of the things that we spoke about now is how you apply yourself to various situations. You can be the most educated person out there, but if you don't know how to apply yourself to a situation, then I think it's a problem. And I think that's what
you have to be a problem solver for this.
Right, absolutely. And that's what I think a lot of agents do. They go to all these CE classes, they get all these qualifications. In general, it helps them. It might make them feel more confident, but it doesn't mean to say they're going to do more business, because they don't know how to apply it to different situations.
Yeah, and especially as a loan officer too, the way that we really learn is by making mistakes or watching others make mistakes and learn from it. In this industry, you're gonna make mistakes because it's challenging. Nothing is ever the same each time. You're gonna run into stuff that you haven't ran into before, even if you're 20 years in the industry.
Right.
And just learning it and moving on from there and not making that mistake again is what's going to make you a good agent.
Right, and that's what it says about closing thoughts. Regardless of how many years you've been in real estate, you'll make mistakes. Fortunately, they don't have to happen ever again. If you're willing to draw lessons from it, let's hope as a newbie real estate agent, this never to do list will save you lots of sweat, tears, money and frustration. Let me give a bit of advice to new agents. What a new agent or somebody thinking of becoming a new agent will do is this. They will turn around and say, oh, how are you doing to an agent? And this agent, and we've experienced this in the past, and an agent will say, you know what, I've never been so busy. The industry is great. I can't believe how much this has changed my life. And all they're doing is telling people how successful they are in the hope that somebody's going to use them in a deal. Because if you're a client, do you want to go and use somebody that's done no deals? You don't. And I'll tell you what happens when you look up how many deals they've actually done. They might have done 2 deals or 3 deals this year. HER released a report, 3 months ago? The average number of deals for an agent is 3. For an agent in 1 year. And they listen to these people and they get the impression that they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars and they're doing all of this. Then they jump into the business without thinking. They're paying, $1,000, $1,500 to get your real estate license. They forget about all the MLS fees, the TREC fees, and everything else.
And even
my son, when he got into the business, all right, when he came in as my assistant at one point, he no longer works for the company, but he came in as my assistant, and he's like, "Why am I paying all these fees?"
Wake up
and
call.
he's a marketing guy. I mean, he's like Kay, social media. He's on everything. Good kid. And the bottom line is, he's like, why am I paying all these fees? Why do I need to be a member of HAR? Because you need to be a good real estate agent doing it properly.
True.
So, I thought that was a good article to talk about.
Do you want to dive into the other one? How Houston's rents have changed over the last 10 years?
You got a question, Kay?
I do. I just want to know, out of that list, what do each of you think is the most important thing? And you only can choose one. So what do you think is the most important thing that you've heard from that list?
Don't skip on the basics.
Laura? Is it because, it's just something to keep in mind?
The key to success is always to start at the basics and be doing all the basics. It just is what it is. And that covers doing social media. That covers everything that you should be doing to be a successful real estate agent.
Yeah, because I agree with Courtney, because if you start at the basics, you're going to treat everybody as your first transaction and give them the attention and not just a deal to get it done,
What'd you think, Stephen?
Well, one of my real estate mentors had a rule, which was the five P's.
Mm-hmm.
Pre-planning prevents piss poor performance. And I really think out of all this that we spoke about was a real estate agent should never lose track of the bigger picture. At the end of the day, the client comes first. No negotiation will turn into a deal. Not every deal will turn into a closed sale. I know you're saying about the basics, but I'm going to argue with you a little bit. And I think because if you've got a good team around you, then that will carry a long way. That's why you're in our office. I mean, I've been very impressed with both of you. Why? What time are you here in the morning?
I've been liking this week, but I used to be here at 8 o'clock.
What time do you leave? Normally.
Normally, sometimes past 8. Sometimes we're here.
How about
at
you?
I usually
Really
come
late,
in
right?
to the office a little bit later because I'm further away. I
7,
would rather
8.
not spend 2 hours getting here, but I'm usually here around 9:30 or
Well, there you
10.
go.
But I stay here usually till 7.
And that's why I say both of you have been so influential within my company for no other reason that you are there available for all my agents if they have any problems downstairs.
I appreciate that, Stephen.
And
You might make Laura
because
cry.
no,
I think
but
you
it's
started crying first.
but it's
She's turning red too.
But
You
it's-
guys start crying, I'm gonna start crying.
But
You
it's-
don't cry?
the teamwork is important because you get your
You have
rough
great
times.
Yes, we all have rough
You get your rough
but
times.
you have great
Sometimes
agents.
I go home and I cry because I've got a bill for because
you
I've
have
got
a
a
good
bill
cry
I've got
at
a
the
bill
Texas
for
real
50
estate
grand. I've got a bill for 50 grand and I'm thinking, how the F am I going to pay this? And then I've got to
I mean, I think this industry, as realtors, as loan officers, we all have good days and we all have bad days. And there's ups and downs in this industry all the time.
Yep.
But I think you have a great team downstairs because I've worked with some personally and closed deals, and they are true fighters of going to the basics, like making sure that the buyer, is taken care of, and not only that, but they're a great team because when you have a great team, when they can fuss at each other and then prop each other up. That's
Yeah.
a great team.
They like to give you criticism, and then the next day you're high-fiving them and friends again.
Yep.
that's
That's a good team.
family. That's what that is,
Yeah.
and that's what you have here.
And it's great that you have that brokerage.
Yeah.
It's great.
brothers and sisters are always rough on one another. Let's get on to the rental rates in the Houston area. And then after that, I'm going to go over to something that you said with the agent that you was dealing with previously, okay? I want to make a comment on that. So, have you got? Yeah, you're good. You've got it up on the screen. This is an article that the Houston Chronicle brought up, and what it basically says is in different areas for a 1-bedroom, 1-bath in Houston, how the rates have gone up over time. I'm so glad I didn't move to New York in 1984 when I was offered a job there. When I looked there,
I love Texas.
For us being such a big city and really having everything here, our rent prices are not bad compared to a lot of other big cities.
Oh, I think they are. The problem is at the moment everybody's getting squeezed because property taxes are going up.
Yeah.
All right, property taxes are going up. The cost of contractors is going up. I'm working on a renovation at the moment. The insurance is going up. Everything is going up. But
I mean, we don't even have to list it. Every single thing is going up.
Which means that the rents are going up. But I mean, for a 1-bedroom, 1-bath in the Houston area, the average is around 1,000 to 1,200. Where you stay at the moment now, a 1-bedroom, 1-bath is around 1,200.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's a 1-bedroom, 1-bath with a loft, it's around 1,300. So it's, the rents are going up. I thought there would have been a bit of a kick, if you want to, and this is where I do blame the government. I'm not bothered who your president is. This is where I blame the government. The government need to bring in a home buying program so people can buy homes. Indirectly, I do think if they did that, it would maybe drive up the price of homes. But I think there should be some sort of program, and they've got these in Europe where you might rent half of the home, but you'll purchase the other half. And it doesn't drive up the rent that much. It might put an extra $150 on the cost of the house, but basically it'll reduce your rent as well because you're buying half.
You're kind of almost renting to own, and it probably is
because it's a government. Because it's a government-backed program, and the person selling the house gets their full money. So,
I think for our solution here, we're probably going to see smaller homes built on smaller lots if the city lets it, so that it can be more affordable for people to buy. That's what I see happening.
Because
there's a lot of new builders that are building these
tiny houses.
Tiny houses.
Right.
Like, let me give you an example. Even Bridgeland, right? Bridgeland is known for those big, fancy, beautiful houses. Now they have a new section where those houses are small. The yard is small.
But the other part is
bye to the big homes.
But by both of you being Texans, do you think Texans will take that? Or do you think Texans?
I don't think we have
or do you think?
Because
or do you think?
We're running out of land here.
Or do you think Texans would rather move away from the city?
That was me. I moved away.
Me.
Yeah.
Because the truth of the matter is, if ever I get to the point of being in a position to retire, all right, I'll either do one or two things. I will get out of the country as quick as I got here, all right, or I would love to buy some land down in Brazoria near Galveston and buy some land there.
Oh, you're going to be my neighbor.
Yeah, I'll be a neighbor.
I'm going up to the hill country, just so you know, to retire.
Or the hill country, that'd be fine. The hill country would be fine.
I just like the trails.
I just don't want to be.
Honestly,
don't want to be rattles. I don't want to be. I just don't want to be near rattlesnakes or copperheads or brown snakes.
I'll be your sister. You can go with me.
Your chance of getting bit are pretty low. I mean,
there's not much rattlesnakes.
It's kind of
just
like
to let you know, when I lived in Australia, I seen one. I was on the plane back to England the following day.
Well, yeah,
But in
that's
Australia,
probably the
they have
size of
a
you.
Australia. They have a lot of deadly things there.
Spiders and
Yeah.
snakes, worst in the world.
I think
But-
a huge draw of moving to Texas, though, that a lot of people, because I feel like, of course, Texans are going to move out, but a huge thing about people moving in Texas is the size of the houses, is the land there. So I don't know if that's because.
But
if you
even
can
then,
get the
we're
same
still
house-
more affordable than a lot of other
Exactly.
places. Even if we're to build these smaller
But you know
homes.
what? I feel like we're running out of land, and you know why? Because
We're not.
15 years ago, when you used to drive south Texas, you would see all these cotton fields, like all these cornfields. Like now, it feels like you're almost every city is almost touching itself.
You've got,
Like,
but if you go down 288, for example, and
well,
you drive
that's
down there.
that's how it used to be down.
All right, but if you
59.
go, even if you go down as far as Meridiana, all right, and you go past Meridiana, there's now 2 subdivisions down there that are just
really?
rental properties. They're all rentals, and it's
That's
just like a
just-
subdivision.
That's just
But-
development, period. Though.
Right, but if you go down there, there's still a lot of land that's down there that's available.
Because we are definitely not like New York, where we got 300 square foot
I just
apartments
feel like
to
we're
rent
getting
out.
it so compact because all these people are moving, like, are not moving, but like
Where
the
do you live,
builders
Cyprus?
are building.
Where do you live, Cyprus?
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
But could you go more? Could you build out more northwest, or are you at the point?
Yeah, I'm gonna build up.
No, but I mean,
Hill country.
She likes to be close to the city,
Is
though.
there any expansion that you think that Houston could build out on the northwest side? Because it's big growing.
It's
There's a lot of expansion that side of town, correct?
a lot. Just Bridgeland itself has grown.
Because
On the
they
other
built
side
an
of
extra
99.
2 Shipleys up there. That's why I know.
Oh wait, you
I'm
have
s-
that new Chevron.
I am not on the.
development coming up.
I am not on the
In
Shipley
Bridgeland.
train. I am so
You
on my.
don't like
Not in the
Shipley's
Shipley
Donuts?
train?
I am on Krispy Kreme train.
They are opening the Tim Hortons on Westheimer, and
Oh, let me ask you quickly. We've got to get off the subject quick. All right, Tim Hortons. All right, it's Canadian, correct? What is it? A bakery?
It's like Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah, it's like.
I tried
Starbucks.
to find
Never been
out.
there.
I tried to find out who owned that building so I could open it up for my fish and chip shop. And I couldn't find out who owned it. And then when I was trying to find out who owned it,
Maybe it's a franchisee.
I'm sorry,
It
but
is,
Tim,
Tim
Hortons
Hortons.
sounds like a.
it's a coffee shop and bakery.
But it feels like the name of it just feels like a suit
Dr.
place.
A what?
A suit place.
There's a place.
I remember Dr. Seuss, the elephant.
Here's a who.
Oh my goodness.
But it is really good coffee. You guys should try it. It's amazing.
It is. Are we talking hot coffee or cold coffee or all coffee?
Everything.
All coffee. It's really, really good.
Swing by for Tim Bites on Tuesday.
Timbits. They're
Timbits.
amazing. I love Timbits.
But you know what I found interesting about this article? That Amarillo, their prices dropped. Bronzeville and Harlingen, Corpus Christi. Like Corpus Christi, it's like back to the average where it used to be because it did drop. El Paso dropped. Killeen, Temple.
College Station. So, that's here.
Loretto. There's a few in here. It's not bad. And those I do consider them cities. Like Bronzeville and Harlingen is like Katy and Houston.
Right.
I mean,
San
even
Antonio.
whenever I went to
That's
El
interesting.
Paso, that's not a small city like I thought it was going to be.
You know
That
what?
thing is
That's the same thing
huge.
I thought. El Paso was like going to be like maybe 8 blocks. And no, it's like big.
It's a big city. And then on the other side, when you look over the Mexico border, it's huge as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of lights.
A lot of land.
Well, I drove back
There you go.
by
You can
night,
drive and live in the
so-
middle of the cartels.
Huh? No. I can't. I'm moving up to the hill country.
That's towards Austin, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
She wants to pay those expensive prices.
My daughter is St. Marcos and she loves St. Marcos.
She could move to San Antonio. It didn't raise. That's what the chart says. San Antonio is still below the national average. Still.
She likes San Antonio. She likes San
I
Antonio.
like San Antonio. San Antonio is kind of pretty close to Austin, but more
Yeah.
more bang for your buck.
Yeah, she says
More
it's.
family centered.
She said it's good for partying. So.
It is.
But you know what? I'm gonna
Family-centered.
take the middle road, and I would move to Waco.
I like New Braunfels.
That's a hill country.
All right.
I like Waco.
Let's go back to your point that you brought up that we sort of half finished. Okay.
Rent and cost.
So just go through it again. You started out. There was a property that you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
You got the feeling. Let's say that you got the feeling that the other agent wanted you to have another property because he was the listing agent.
Yes, he sent me 2 other properties that he was the listing agent on, and I was just kind of going back and forth, and he was just trying to talk me out of the unit that I actually wanted. And then when I filled out the paperwork, he was, I filled everything out, and then the next day he was like, oh, they went with someone else. And I'm like, how? I just talked to you about it yesterday. I just filled out this paperwork. I checked it out on Zillow. That place is still up. I think it was listed for 167 weeks or something like that. Like,
Oh,
it was
man.
Wow.
So,
Okay, I've got a couple of comments with that. The first thing is Zillow doesn't. All Zillow properties are not accurate. All right. So we'll take a little bit of a side of the agent. All right. I don't want to feel like I'm being mean to the agent. The second thing is always check your local MLS, because your local MLS has more accurate information on what's available and what's not. Now, that's why I say to everybody, always try to get yourself a different agent than who the listing agent is. All right? Because the truth of the matter is they're going to negotiate harder for that listing, because they're probably feeling, well, I put some time into this, I need to get a bit of reward from this, and then they will do what they can and bring in their team, whether it be negotiating you a residential service contract, whether it be negotiating you an extra $1,000 for repair costs or anything else. But in your case, for a rental, all right, this is happening a lot in Houston, because what's happening is the majority of homes in Houston now are rental homes.
Mm-hmm.
So what's happening is the agents are struggling, like you said, with the 3 closings a year, and they're doing their best at getting both sides of the deal.
Well, during COVID, I was primarily doing investments for conventional, and we were locking in conventional investment properties at 3 and 4%.
Jeez.
So these investors ain't gonna move nowhere.
Even non-QM, it was like at a
5, 4, and 5s.
And then the other thing is that I'll bring up is, I don't know if you both know or anyone in this room knows, but there is a lawsuit out there somewhere where there's a group of home buyers that are suing the big real estate companies. It's a class action lawsuit.
Okay.
And what they're basically doing is saying that real estate agents have a monopoly on whether they buy or sell at the property. And what they did was they did a sting operation in different states, not just one state, but a number of states. And there was some agent that was saying, well, I'm not showing that property if it's only a 2% commission. I'm only showing properties that have got a 3% commission.
Oof.
All right. Well, and I know that's not even on the table. If you've got a client and you represent that client, you have a fiduciary responsibility to show that property.
Do you see it happening where the commission has to be the same across the board?
No, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I've sold properties, where I've sold the properties for 4%. There's some properties I've sold for 7%. It's all negotiable.
It's kind of like me and Laura. I mean, some deals we make really good money and some we don't. And it's just kind of part of the business. You shouldn't shy away for it.
I agree.
And you should keep at the end of the day.
I've had some buyers, to be perfectly honest, that have turned around to me and said, I've used you before, I'll pay you commission.
Yeah, and then on top of that, I mean...
You know, so it's
just part...
It's not all that. The thing that I've got a problem with this class action lawsuit is I pay MLS fees to be a broker for an MLS fee. There's a yearly fee as a broker, and then I have to pay a quarterly fee as an agent. All these fees mount up, all right? And then people like Zillow, Realtor.com, and some others, they come along, and what they actually do is they list all these properties, like apartments.com. I've got a real problem with apartments.com because some of them apartments, they're not available. They just list them for clickbait, and then they sell them leads to agents. You know? So I'm not going to support, you know, stuff like that. And the problem is the clients call up, oh, I want to see the property at 1234 Main Street, you know, for rent. You know, I want to see it tomorrow, and I'm trying to find the property. I can't find it on HAR. And one of the questions that we're always taught to ask with our agents is, well, where did you see the property? Well, it was in apartments.com. And we go to apartments.com and it's on there and it's not even available. To me, they should stop that. It shouldn't be allowed. We had one listing that was on there for 2 years ago.
And they wouldn't take it off?
What? There's no way to contact anybody. There's no way to take it off.
Yeah.
But there is a lawsuit out there somewhere that's basically saying that agents have been doing that, and they shouldn't be doing that. They should not be directing people. They shouldn't be steering people. As I said, that's where I said to you on that list of things where the fiduciary duty comes in.
Agreed.
Because to me, that's the biggest criticism that real estate agents have is, you know, they always think that we're poker players, if you want to, and manipulating, and it's not that at all. Not if it's done properly. And that's my number one thing.
Yep.
Anything else we've got to talk about? We're good to go?
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody, but we have to go. So
we did a little laughing, a little crying, a little arguing. Okay, now we're done.
So, from the two best loan ladies in Texas, as in Miss Courtney, how do we get hold of you?
Yes, you can email me at Courtney@lspmortgage.com or reach me out on my phone number at 832-409-7908.
Just don't grab her by the neck. And how do we get hold of you, Laura?
Laura, Laura, at lspmortgage.com.
And you can contact us on social media, or you can contact me on social media. You'll actually get K, but I'll say it's me. And that is C21 Olympian TX.
Kay's over there nodding her head.
Or if you're interested in becoming an agent, go to LinkedIn and look for Stephen G. Williams.
And you'll still get
send
me.
it to anyone. And you're more than welcome if you're in the Houston area to come and see me. I'd love to meet you and talk real estate. Or if you're an investor looking to get into the business, or even if you're a wholesaler and you've got properties to sell, let us know, because we are buying. So thanks a bunch, and we look forward to seeing you soon. We'll see you next week, 12 o'clock. Thanks a bunch. Ta-ta for now.